I am a skateboarder. Since before I could even remember, I had a skateboard under my feet. Skateboarding has always been a huge part of my life. It evolved from an interest to a hobby, to a lifestyle, and now it's part of my career. Skateboarding has taught me many things that have helped me get through life's challenges, and it's helped me run my business. It has taught me to try hard things, get up after a fall, and have an attitude and say, one more try. When I was born, my dad owned his own skate shop, kind of like me. And some of my earliest memories are going into that skate shop, looking at the cool skateboards, looking at the shoes, watching skate videos, and reading skateboard magazines. Needless to say, I was hooked, even from a young age. When I was 2 years old, I was diagnosed with a condition called metatarsus adductus. And this is where your feet turn into a C-like shape, and it impairs your walking. After being diagnosed, the doctor informed my parents that I would have to undergo a surgery to fix this. And he told them that I would have to have screws in my feet to hold them in place. My parents thought a lot about this a lot. They knew that this would affect my entire life. And after a while, they realized that they were going to have one more try. They were going to get another opinion. And so they did. And when they asked this other doctor, he said, I am so glad that you did not do this to your kid. Because it was actually a pretty simple procedure. It was one incision on the inside of each of my feet. They snipped a tendon, sewed it back up, and they threw casts on my feet. And so I told you, I was inseparable from my skateboarding. Here's a picture of me a couple days after the procedure. I still get that happy when I'm on a skateboard. Skateboarding was a huge part of my life even after the surgery. From backyard skate sessions every day to skateboard competitions, it was my first true love. When you're skateboarding with people, a common phrase that you'll hear is one more try. Usually as skateboarders, we say this to our friends, to the person filming us, or to the people that are kicking us out of the place that we're skating. Funnily enough, I have been escorted off of the Provo City Library before for skating. So I'm really ironic that you're here because I've been asked to leave here before. And so, when we're skateboarding, that's something we just have to deal with. And we say one more try in hopes that we'll land the trick the next try. When I was 17, I started filming a skate video with my friends. Filming a skate video is the pinnacle of skateboarding. It's something that every skateboarder, including me, has always dreamed of doing. And so one day, me and my friends, we went out and we went to a gym nearby our house. And we wanted to skate this bench that was out in the front. Well, we got there and we saw that people were actually working. It was a weekend, and so we were surprised. So we decided, well, we're going to get kicked out if we skate right in front of this massive window where they could see us. So we went to the back. Skateboarders were pretty resourceful and creative, and when we got to the back, we found a ton of sheets of plywood. And so we saw this and we were like, oh, I got a good idea. So in the back, there was a slab of concrete, like 25 feet. And then there was a patch of grass that was slightly downhill. And that was another 25 feet, and then it landed on the sidewalk. And we decided that we were going to set these pieces of plywood and form kind of like a bridge. And we would skip from each piece of plywood to the next and go onto the sidewalk. We were trying this for a while, and it was pretty easy. We were just skipping and hopping, and it was super fun. Well, I decided that I was going to try a trick where I'd balance on my back 2 wheels called a manual, and then I would gap over this small grass gap into the sidewalk. And one of the gym workers came out and said, "Hey guys, you gotta leave, you can't be skateboarding here." And so I told him, "Okay, one more try." And as I threw my board down, there was no telling me that I was not going to learn this. I wanted it. And so I have it on film, and I want to show you. Here's what happened.
Oh. Oh.
This video went a little viral after we posted it on Instagram. Even though I had the determination to land my trick, I didn't. I fell short, no pun intended. And I slid my face across the concrete. When I think about skateboarding, I think of it as a metaphor of life. It is a process. It's something that we don't just get our goal, we don't reach our goal immediately. Sometimes life can drag us down and we feel like we're constantly having these hard things happen to us. But falling is a vital part of our process for success. This is a professional skateboarder that me and my wife were actually watching this video last week, and we thought this would be perfect for my talk. This shows that all of us fall, even the best of the best. Doesn't skateboarding look great fun? Luckily, it's not all this, but this is to show you that we all fall. And this is part of our process. When we skateboard, we accept and we expect to fall. We know that this is just a part of it. After learning Mandarin Chinese for the past decade or so, I've learned immense wisdom from common-day sayings. One of them is, I'm going to read it, I'll translate it in English. 经一事长一智. This means that we learn from our experiences. Not only just any experience, this actually has a negative connotation when it says experiences. Another English translation, I don't know if we really say this, but it was a fall in the pit, a gain in your wit. Even though it sometimes might hurt in the moment, it's best for us to shake it off and continue trying. I want to get a raise of hands here real quick. Who has played the video game Pitfall? I'm sure some of you have seen it. Okay. Not as many hands as I didn't expect that many hands. Pitfall is a platformer video game originally released on the Atari 2600. It's similar to like Super Mario Bros. Or Donkey Kong. In Pitfall, you are a jungle explorer. You dodge crocodiles, snakes, scorpions. You jump over pits, swing on vines, and you find hidden treasures. When playing this game for the first time, I found myself in front of a pit. With no previous experience, I moved the joystick over, I ran, pressed the button, and I fell smack dab in the middle of the pit. Luckily with video games, your life regens. And so, I had a second chance at it. Do you think that second time I jumped from the same place? Of course not. I had learned that I needed to time my jumps perfectly. Another Chinese phrase that I wanted to share that goes along with this is this. 失败为成功之母. This means that failure is the predecessor of success. When we fall as skateboarders, it doesn't mean that we're failing. It means that we're trying. And we're learning the process. And we're figuring out how to succeed. And as we learn from these mistakes and utilize these lessons, it continually helps us to succeed. A story from me is, after running my skate shop for about 3 years, I received an email from my landlord. And I knew that my lease agreement was coming to an end. I was expecting the email to say that my rent was going up and that I would continue to be in the space that I was in. But come to find out, they had told me a different story. They said that I would no longer be able to occupy the space that I was in because they were going to use it for their own purposes. I was crushed. I had been working on this business and giving it my all for 3+ years. We had cultivated a vast and rich community. And we had just helped the city build a skate park. And this was something that people were trying to do for 20+ years. And so it felt like it couldn't have come at a worse time. We had built the business, it was running how we wanted it to run, and now we had this change. So I started looking for a new building, and that was also not easy. I looked for months trying to find a new space for us to lease. I toured buildings, I asked for help from anyone I knew that was familiar with real estate. And after a couple months, I knew that I only had a little time left. The clock was ticking, and I didn't know what to do. I sat down with my wife and I told her my frustrations. And we were talking about it, and ultimately we were saying that we would probably just close the store. As we were talking about this, I had a thought to give it one more try. And I hopped on my phone and I looked at the website that had all the available spaces for lease in Utah. And as I pulled it up, there was a new space that I hadn't seen before. It had just been uploaded the day before. That is where the skate shop is now, today. And while we miss and cherish our original location in Bountiful, I know this is where we're supposed to be today. Because of our move, we have a bigger space. We're able to throw cool parties and have the community come. And because of this, we've been able to work with renowned artists and brands and skateboarders from all over the world. And so, this was a fall. I didn't fail. It was a teaching moment. So, may we all take these teaching moments, and when the going gets rough, just say, one more try. Thank you.